All right, let's talk about AI. It feels like it's moving at a million miles an hour, right? Creating these huge ripple effects across pretty much everything. But to really get a handle on where we are in, say, late 2025, let's just cut through the noise for a second. Let's start with a single number.
$10 billion. That's how much extra annual sales Amazon thinks it's going to make from its AI shopping assistant, Rufus. I mean, that's just a staggering number. It tells you we are so far past the is this real phase. This isn't some cool tech demo. It's a core piece of the business for one of the biggest companies on the planet. So what's the tech that's actually making this happen?
Well, it's called Agentic AI. And the most important word there is AX. You know, the AI we first got used to, it would draft an email for you. That was cool. But an agent can take a goal, like, hey, find me the best flight to Tokyo for next month, and oh, by the way, book it, and it just goes and does all the steps on its own. That is the fundamental shift we're all living through right now.
And this shift is kicking off a full-blown revolution. Seriously, we're going from AI as a helpful co-pilot, sitting next to us and offering suggestions, to AI as an autonomous coworker that's actually on the payroll doing the work. And this is having a huge impact, especially inside big companies.
Just look at the payoff here. We're not talking about small, incremental gains. Companies like ServiceNow are seeing revenue pop by over 60%. They're cutting the time it takes to get things done by 90%. And get this, platforms like Crew.AI have already done over 1.4 times billion tasks. This isn't just about speed, it's about fundamentally changing what a business is even capable of. But, of course, with all this new power come new problems.
Right, so this autonomy thing, it's a classic double-edged sword. On one side, you've got these incredible gains in productivity. On the other, you have security threats that didn't even exist a year ago. There's this wild new thing called agent session smuggling. It's where a bad AI can basically sweet-talk a company's AI over a bunch of normal-looking chats, build trust, and then trick it into leaking sensitive financial data or even making unauthorized stock trades. It's a super stealthy, really dangerous new way to attack a company.
So how on earth do you secure a workforce made of AI? Well, the playbook is being rewritten as we speak. It means you absolutely need a human to sign off on the big stuff. You have to create things like agent cards to prove an AI is who it says it is. And maybe the biggest mental shift of all, you have to start treating every single agent as a non-human identity and apply a zero-trust model, giving it the bare minimum access it needs to do its job and nothing more.
Now, this agentic revolution isn't just happening on our screens. It needs a physical world to live in, a massive global buildout of data centers and hardware to power it all. And this has kicked off a huge debate. Are we in a sustainable, virtuous cycle, building the future economy? Or are we just inflating a massive bubble that's about to pop?
I mean, just look at the money being spent. These are not small bets. We are talking about capital expenditures that are pushing $125 billion for Amazon, over $90 billion for Alphabet, and more than $70 billion for Meta. The numbers are they're hard to wrap your head around, and they're feeding two very, very different stories about what happens next.
So first you've got the bull case, and who better to give it than Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang. He argues this is all part of a virtuous cycle. Better AI models create more value, which drives demand for more chips and data centers, which lets us build even better models, and on it goes. He sees this as a solid 10-year project that's going to reshape the entire global economy.
But then you have the bear case, coming from somebody who's seen a bubble or two, Bill Gates. He's straight up warning that we are in an AI bubble. Now, he's not saying it's all smoke and mirrors, but he sees a ton of hype, crazy valuations, and he's predicting that a lot of the companies throwing all this money at infrastructure, they're just not going to see a return on that investment.
So you end up with these two completely different futures. The bulls are saying, no, the demand is real, it's transformative, this is a decade of solid growth. The bears are pointing out that spending is way ahead of revenue, the hardware is obsolete in a couple of years, and all these debt-financed data centers could be a real risk to the financial system. You know what? Both could be right. The huge platform winners might just keep winning, while a whole lot of other companies could be heading for a pretty nasty crash.
All of this change, all this disruption, it's forcing all of us to ask a really basic question. What are the rules here? From who owns what to how we protect people's rights, a whole new legal and regulatory world is being built right before our eyes, in real time.
The music industry is a perfect example of this. What was their first move when generative AI hit the scene? Sue everybody, right? They went straight to court over copyright, but they've made this incredibly smart pivot. Now the strategy is settle those lawsuits, partner up with the AI companies, and then work with them to build new tools that are fully licensed from the get-go.
And this isn't just a theory. It's happening. Universal Music Group settled its lawsuit with Udio, and now they're working together to launch a new licensed AI music platform. They're also partnering with Stability AI to create responsibly trained tools for professional artists. See the pattern? They're moving the fight from the courtroom to the contract. They're trying to shape the market instead of just trying to stop it.
And if you zoom out, the whole world is scrambling to figure this out, but everybody has a different idea. California is really focused on a rights-based approach, civil rights, corporate accountability. The UK is all about experimentation, creating these supervised sandboxes for companies to play in. And then you have the EU with its massive AI Act, which is all about getting approval before a high-risk system even hits the market. There's just no global consensus yet.
Okay, so this brings us to the biggest ripple of all, the most personal one. How is all this AI stuff actually showing up in our lives? And I don't think there's anywhere the stakes are higher or the picture is clearer than when we talk about our health and our mental well-being.
Just read that for a second. This quote is from news reports, and it is absolutely sobering. It just cuts through all the talk about money and technology and gets right to the human core of all this. As we roll out these incredibly powerful tools, we are seeing so much hope, but also so much potential for harm.
And this is the central tension right here. On the harm side, you have these unregulated AI companion apps that are engaging with kids and teenagers, and it's leading to lawsuits and real tragedy. It's critical to remember they are not licensed therapists. But on the hope side, that same kind of tech can be used to create amazing simulated patients, to train actual clinicians, helping them get better at providing care without ever putting a real person at risk. The context is literally everything.
So, what's the path forward? Well, a pretty clear consensus is starting to form around a three-part plan. First, protect kids with super clear rules like mandatory age verification, no question. Second, we need to carve out and really encourage the safe educational uses, like that clinician training we were just talking about. And third, and this might be the most important one, we've got to align the AI's goals with safety, not just with keeping a user engaged at all costs.
And when we actually get this right, the potential is just enormous. In actual hospitals and clinics, we're seeing healthcare AI finally grow up. It's moving past the hype, and it's becoming a real foundational piece of the puzzle, a true infrastructure for care that helps doctors and makes patients better.
And this is not a fantasy. It's happening now. Look at these real-world wins. In Denmark, they're building patient perspectives into new AI projects from day one. The UK's National Health Service is already saving an estimated 400,000 staff hours every single month using AI tools, and things like Google's Research AI are helping push forward precision cancer treatments. This is what responsible AI looks like in the real world.
Which really leaves us with this one final crucial question. From the corporate boardroom to the hospital room, we are building a new world powered by this technology, the agentic revolution. It promises incredible efficiency and productivity, but as we've seen, it also brings huge risks and really tough ethical questions. So the question we all have to keep asking is this: as we build this thing, are we optimizing it just for efficiency, or are we building it for human flourishing? The answer to that is still being written.